Let me ask you something. Why do you keep entering trades after the move has already started?
Order filled.
Why do you wait until the candle is halfway gone, then panic and hit the buy button only to get stopped out seconds later? You know that feeling. The one where you stare at the chart, you see the setup forming, you feel that itch, that tension in your chest. You know you're not supposed to chase, but the thought won't leave your head. What if this is the one? What if it just flies without me? So you jump in, late, every time, and you lose. Again and again. But here's the thing no one tells you. This isn't about your strategy. It's not about your indicators. It's not even about your discipline. It's about your brain. You've been trained to chase, not just in trading in life. Think about it. Every piece of content you consume, every Instagram reel, every TikTok trade recap, every YouTube short showing a $3,000 day with zero context, it's all doing one thing. It's programming your nervous system to believe that missing out is fatal. You've been emotionally conditioned to believe that waiting equals losing. So what happens? You sit at the chart. You see a clean setup forming, maybe even one you've back-tested 100 times. But instead of calmly entering when the system tells you, you hesitate. You wait for confirmation. You wait for momentum. You wait for just one more sign. And when that candle finally rips, boom, dopamine surge. Adrenaline kicks in. Your brain screams, "This is it. Get in now or you'll miss everything." And in that moment, your brain is not processing data. It's not measuring risk-reward. It's not calculating probabilities. It's surviving. You're not a trader anymore. You're a panicked animal chasing the last piece of meat in the jungle. And you know what's funny? You know this is FOMO. You've read about it, heard podcasts about it, maybe even wrote "don't chase" on a sticky note above your monitor. But it still happens. Because FOMO isn't a concept. It's not a motivational quote. FOMO is a biological loop that hijacks your nervous system. Let me break it down for you. Every time you act impulsively, and it works, your brain rewards you. Even if the trade was trash. Even if the edge was zero. Your brain doesn't care about trading logic. It cares about patterns, repetition, dopamine. So if you once bought the top of a candle and it spiked another 10 pips, your brain logged it as, "This worked, do it again." Next time you hesitate, it whispers, "Last time you got in late and made money, don't miss it." Even if 9 out of 10 times you lose doing this, that one hit rewires everything. You're not just trading with money now. You're trading with memory, survival, and chemical addiction. But the worst part? FOMO doesn't just make you enter late. It erodes your identity as a trader. You stop trusting your system. You stop following your plan. You stop believing in delayed gratification. And little by little, you become the trader who always reacts, never acts. You enter after the breakout. You exit at the first red candle. You revenge trade to get it back. You ignore your stop loss because this one might reverse. You turn your strategy into a suggestion, and your emotions into the system. Let me give you a real-world example. Let's say you're watching Euro USD chart. Clean range. You see price consolidating for hours. You know from your plan, if we break out and retest, I enter. Simple. But then, some random move shoots price up 30 pips in one candle. No retest. Just straight vertical. You missed it. Heart rate goes up. You zoom in. You lower time frames. You start thinking, okay, wait, maybe on the 1 min we're doing a flag. Should I scalp it? Your plan is gone. Your logic is gone. Your identity as a trader is gone. All that's left is a need. A desperate need to not feel left out. So you click buy. And 5 minutes later you're red again. Not because you're dumb. Not because you're undisciplined. Because your brain doesn't want you to feel pain. Here's the truth. FOMO is not a trading issue. It's an identity issue. You don't need more technicals. You don't need more risk rules. You need to become the person who doesn't need to chase. You need to detach your sense of opportunity from urgency. You need to build a nervous system that can wait. Because the best traders don't win by doing more. They win by doing nothing when it's not their time. And that's the hardest skill in the world. But if you don't learn it, you'll always be the trader who enters late. Segment 2. Your brain is addicted to FOMO. Let me ask you something. Have you ever told yourself, next time I won't chase? And then next time comes, and you chase anyway. You weren't supposed to. You made a plan. You wrote it down. You swore you'd follow it. But the second that candle exploded, your logic disappeared. Your pulse spiked. And your finger hit buy before your brain could stop it. This isn't a discipline problem. It's a neurological addiction. FOMO is not just a feeling. It's a chemical loop. And you're inside it. Your brain has one job: to avoid pain and seek reward. It doesn't care about your trading rules. It doesn't care about your stop loss. It cares about one thing: survival. And in today's world, survival isn't about food or shelter. It's about emotion. Avoiding the pain of regret. Chasing the thrill of potential gain. Every time you chase a trade, your brain gives you dopamine. Whether it was a good trade or not, whether you won or lost, the act of chasing itself becomes a reward. It feels exciting. It feels alive. It feels like you're doing something. And if one of those chases ever actually worked, even just once your brain remembered it, it stamped it in your reward system and said, do that again. That's how addictions form. Not from logic, not from reason, but from a single moment that felt good. Now you're not trading based on setups. You're trading based on cravings. Your mind starts scanning the chart for what might move. Not what makes sense. Not what aligns with your plan. Just what might give you a hit. And when you don't get it, you feel empty. You feel anxious. You feel like you're wasting time. That's withdrawal. You open random charts. You force trades. You scale into losers. You revenge trade out of boredom. And every time you do, the neural path gets stronger. The chemical bond gets deeper. And the addiction gets harder to break. But here's what makes FOMO so dangerous. Unlike drugs or alcohol, it disguises itself as productivity. You feel like you're doing something useful. You feel like you're learning. You feel like you're being active in the markets. But you're not. You're just feeding the loop. Again and again. Until it owns you. This is why most traders can't stop chasing. Because deep down, they don't want to. They crave the feeling more than they crave the outcome. They say they want to be patient. But they're bored when nothing happens. They say they want consistency. But they feel nothing when they follow the plan. Because the brain doesn't reward stillness. It rewards stimulation. And FOMO is pure stimulation. Fast candles. Sudden spikes. Instant decisions. All of it triggers the same dopamine cycle as gambling. And it's not a coincidence. Trading platforms are designed like casinos. Charts flashing. Pips ticking. Colors turning red and green. Everything moving fast. It's not just data. It's engineered to keep you hooked. Just like a slot machine. And the more you feed that system, the more numb you become to the basics. You stop waiting. You stop analyzing. You stop trusting. You become reactive. Desperate. Emotionally dependent on movement. And slowly, trade by trade, you lose your edge. Not because you're stupid. Not because you're new. But because your brain is running the show. Your trading account is no longer controlled by your strategy. It's controlled by your nervous system. So the question isn't, how do I stop chasing? The question is, how do I rewire myself? Because you can't out-discipline a brain that's chemically addicted to urgency. You can't fix FOMO with motivation, or with sticky notes, or with willpower. You have to change how you experience time. You have to find reward in the wait, satisfaction in the silence, and pride in the pass. Because doing nothing when it's not your time is the real edge. That's what most people will never learn. And that's why they lose. They think trading is about finding opportunity. But it's not. It's about protecting yourself from the part of you that needs opportunity. The part that gets high off motion. The part that hates waiting. The part that thinks missing out means falling behind. But here's the truth. There is no behind. There is no last chance. There is only the next clean setup. The next smart decision. The next trade that aligns with who you want to become. And if you can't wait for that, you're not trading. You're just chasing feelings. You're just chasing the version of yourself that never had enough. Segment 3. Every trade feels like the last chance. Have you ever felt like every setup might be the last good one you'll ever see? You stare at the chart. You see a clean move forming. You know what you should wait for. You know how the system works. But something inside you says, what if this is it? What if this is the one that runs without me? What if this is the move that finally changes everything? That thought hits you harder than any candle ever could. Because deep down, you're not afraid of missing one trade. You're afraid of missing your moment. You're afraid that if you don't catch this one, you'll stay stuck. Stuck in that job. Stuck in that life. Stuck in that version of yourself you've been trying to escape for years. So you enter. Not because the setup says go, but because your soul says run. Run before it's too late. Run before you miss another chance. Run before you fall behind again. This is the psychology no one talks about. The part of trading that's rooted in your story. Because this isn't about charts. This is about time. You feel like you're running out of it. You see people winning. You see accounts doubling. You see stories of fast success, and you compare them to your own slow grind. And that creates pressure. Silent, constant, heavy. Every time you open the charts, it's like a clock is ticking in the background. You can't just analyze. You can't just wait. You feel like if you don't act now, you'll lose everything. But here's the truth, no one tells you. That feeling isn't coming from the market. It's coming from your past. Maybe you've spent years watching other people move ahead. Maybe you've missed real opportunities in life. Maybe you've made promises to yourself that you still haven't kept. And now you think trading is your redemption arc. Your second chance. Your comeback story. So every setup becomes a symbol. Every candle becomes a crossroads. Every move becomes a test. Will you take it? Or will you miss out again? And that weight is unbearable. You start to overvalue everything. You force trades. You ignore risk. You abandon your system. Because the trade isn't just a trade anymore. It's hope. It's validation. It's proof that you're not too late. But the irony is, the more you chase that proof, the more you destroy the very thing you came here to build. Consistency. Patience. Freedom. You wanted control. But now the trades control you. You've built your identity around needing a win. Needing confirmation that you're not falling behind. And that's a trap. Because no trade will ever fill that void. No candle will ever give you closure. No TP will ever make up for all the time you feel you've lost. That's not what trading is for. Trading is not therapy. It's not validation. It's not a shortcut to feeling worthy. It's a skill. A skill that only rewards those who can detach their self-worth from performance. That's why most people fail. Because they're not just trading charts. They're trading their insecurities, their timelines, their unhealed regrets. And every time they lose, it confirms their fear. See? I really am late. I really am behind. I really am not good enough. That becomes their loop. Not because of bad strategy. Not because of poor risk. But because of meaning. They give each trade too much meaning. Too much pressure. Too much emotional weight. So how do you fix it? You learn to separate the chart from your story. You stop making every candle personal. You stop believing that one move will change your life. You stop trading like this is your last chance. Because it's not. There's always another trade. Always another day. Always another opportunity. But you only see that if you let go of the fear. The fear of missing out. The fear of wasting time. The fear that you're not where you should be. You are where you are. And that's enough. As long as you stay focused, as long as you build real skill, as long as you trade from logic, not panic, you're not late. You're exactly where you need to be. Segment 4. How to kill FOMO, awareness and resetting the system. You can't fix a problem you don't understand. And you can't beat FOMO by just saying, I won't chase. Because you already tried that. Didn't work. You wrote the notes. You set the alarms. You promised yourself next time will be different. But it wasn't. Because FOMO isn't a surface problem. It's not about discipline. It's not about intelligence. It's about wiring. Your brain is wired to chase. Wired to move fast. Wired to seek dopamine. So if you want to kill FOMO, you have to start by resetting the system. You have to stop reacting and start observing. Step 1 is awareness. Real awareness. Not just, yeah, I know I have FOMO, but where, how, and why it shows up in you. When does it happen? What triggers it? How does it feel in your body? What thoughts start looping? You need to watch yourself like a sniper. Not to judge, but to document. Start a journal. Not just about trades. About you. How did you feel when you opened the chart today? What were you hoping to see? What was your state of mind when you entered that trade? Was it clarity or craving? This isn't just journaling. It's rewiring. You are building a pattern recognizer inside your own mind. Because most traders only track numbers. But the real data is emotional. Your edge is hidden in how you feel before you act. And you'll never find it unless you look. But awareness isn't enough. Because even when you catch yourself, the urge is still there. So the next step is creating space. You need to slow everything down. When your heart rate spikes, when you feel that surge of urgency, when you're about to click buy stop, close your eyes. Breathe. Name it. Say out loud, this is FOMO. Not to shame yourself, but to create distance. Because as soon as you name it, it loses power. Now it's not just a feeling. It's a signal. And signals can be tracked. You can build a list. A FOMO checklist. Every time you feel the urge, write down. What time is it? What's the chart doing? What are you thinking? What are you trying to prove? Over time, you'll see patterns. Maybe it's always during news. Maybe it's always after a missed move. Maybe it's always when you're tired, or lonely, or angry at something else. This is how you bring unconscious behavior into the light. Because what you can't see, you can't control. And what you can't control will eventually destroy you. Now here's the hard truth. If you want to reset your system, you need to be willing to walk away. Not from trading, but from the feeling of needing to trade. You need to prove to yourself that you can sit in front of the chart and do nothing. No click. No panic. No impulse. Just watch. Breathe. Observe. Most traders can't do that. They feel useless if they're not in a trade. They feel like they're falling behind. They feel like their value comes from being active. That mindset will kill your edge. Because real traders aren't active. They're accurate. They don't move because they want to. They move because the market demands it. And if the market isn't saying anything, they stay silent. That's the goal. To turn down the noise inside you. To unlearn the urgency. To find peace in waiting. Because when you can wait, you win. You win by not losing. You win by keeping your edge. You win by letting the market come to you. That's the first layer of killing FOMO. Awareness. Observation. Resetting your emotional response. Not fixing, not forcing, just understanding. The truth is, you're not broken. You're just conditioned. And what's been conditioned can be unconditioned. Segment 5. How to kill FOMO. Rebuilding discipline and mastery. So you've recognized the loop. You've built the awareness. You've started to reset your system. But now comes the hard part. Rebuilding who you are. Because killing FOMO isn't just about stopping bad habits. It's about creating a new identity. Let me ask you something. Who are you when there's nothing to do? When the charts are slow? When the market is flat? When no setups are forming? Do you panic? Do you feel lost? Do you go hunting for trades that don't exist? Or do you wait? Do you sit still and trust your edge? That's the difference between a trader who survives and one who dominates. Discipline isn't willpower. It's structure. It's habits. It's repetition. It's building a system so solid that you follow it without thinking. Because real mastery doesn't feel like motivation. It feels like default behavior. So if you want to kill FOMO, you need to stop making decisions in the moment. You need to decide before the trade even appears. Build your checklist. Define your entry. Set your risk. Write your rules. Then follow them like your life depends on it. Because in a way it does. Not your physical life, but the life you're trying to build, the version of you that trades with clarity, that holds confidence, that doesn't flinch when the market moves. That version of you only shows up when the system is stronger than the emotion. But here's something nobody tells you. Discipline gets boring. And that's exactly where your edge lives. In the boredom, in the routine, in the hundreds of hours where nothing happens and you do the right thing anyway. That's what separates you. Not how much you know. Not how many indicators you use. Not how fast you enter. But how still you stay when your body wants to move. Most traders fail because they can't sit in silence. They confuse stillness with weakness. They think success comes from constant action. But in trading, action without structure is just noise. And noise kills accounts. You don't need more setups. You don't need more speed. You need stillness, structure, simplicity. You need to know exactly what your edge looks like and say no to everything else. Even when it feels good. Even when it looks tempting. Even when your heart starts racing. Especially then. Because mastery isn't sexy. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's disciplined beyond emotion. And if you can build that, FOMO dies on its own. Because it has nothing to feed on. No fear. No doubt. No identity built around missing out. Just clarity. Just execution. Just peace. That's the final layer. Not just becoming a trader who avoids mistakes, but becoming a person who no longer needs chaos to feel alive. Someone who doesn't chase candles, because they already know who they are. That's real freedom. That's the death of FOMO. If this hits something real in you, don't just click away. Leave a comment. Tell me how FOMO shows up in your trading. Then hit subscribe if you're done gambling and ready to trade with intention. This channel's not here to hype you up. It's here to make you sharper. Let's build this together.